There's Webby. Hi, buddy. Say, I'm Webster. See, wave to the camera. Hi. See, we used to have a couple more doggies, and then I ate them. Winnie Bunny. Do I get kisses? Oh, did he? See, hi, math kids. See, I love math. I love you. You love me. And that's all for Webby. He's
All right. We know you always love to see Webster in your videos. So now we're going to get going again. So I want to refresh with you guys distributive property so you see how this happens. Distributive property is when we take the 3 and we multiply it by the a to get to the 3a, and then we give that 3 to the other thing in parentheses to get the 3b. So notice how there's no sign in between the number and the parentheses. That's because that means multiplication right there. So we have to make sure we remember it's 3 times the a plus 3 times the b. All right, so we're going to use greatest common factor, something we've already done this year, and distributive property to rewrite these. So we're going to take the 4D plus the 12E, and we're going to try to look at this and say, what is the greatest common factor between a 4 and a 12? That means what can go into 4 that can go into 12 also? And we're going to be dividing that out. And that's the number that's going to be put on the outside of a set of parentheses. So if we notice if we have 1, a 2, and a 4 option here, so you're kind of thinking 1 times 4, 2 times 2, and what makes 12 is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. What's the biggest thing that they have that we wrote on the side? A 4. So we're going to take that 4 out, and that's like dividing each of these by 4. So if I take the 4s out of this, I'm just left with the D. But if I take a 4 out of that, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and I still have the letter E, and then I can't forget to put the plus sign. So I used distributive property, and I will get back what I had. See, 4D plus 12E, back to where I was. So this is what I did over here. This is what you're thinking. You're thinking this. Okay, so now we're going to look at letter B, and we're going to bring that down here. So we're going to have 18x plus 30y. So we know we're going to make one set of parentheses, and something's going to go on the outside. So we kind of have to think of what makes 18. We have 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. So then we look over here and we say, well, 1 goes into 30, 18 does not, 2 does, 9 does not, 3 does, and 6 does. So they have a 6 in common. So if I divide both of these by 6's, 6 goes into 18 3 times, and I don't forget the letter X. I got to make this a little bigger. Plus 6 goes into 35 times with a Y. So I just used distributive property. Biggest thing they both had in common was a 6, and that's what I did. So now we're going to look at 21a plus 28y. All right, so we know that we need a set of parentheses, and we're going to have a number. So let's think about what makes 28. 1 times 28, 2 times 14. Anything else? Keep thinking. 4 times 7. Good. So when I look at these numbers, 4 doesn't go into it. 2 doesn't because it's not even. 1 does. 28's too big. 14 doesn't. But a 7 does. So if I divide both of these numbers by 7, the coefficients, 7 goes into 21 3 times. Don't forget my A. And then 7 goes into 28 4 times, and then the Y. All right, so let's try one more. 24F plus 56G. Some of you kids are so good at this that you can easily find what goes into these. So 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. So when I look at these numbers, 24 is not working. 1, yes. 2, yes. It's got to be something bigger than a 2. 4, yes. 3, no, because when you add up the digits, you get 11. 8 works, so I'm going to use 8. 8 goes into 24 3 times, letter F, plus 7G. Now, I only put the 8 underneath it just so I can do the division. Because remember, this little bar underneath it just means 24 divided by 8. So that's why I put them all in there like that. So this is what you're doing. Now, if this is messy for you to think about, kind of put boxes around them so you can trace it out is fine with me. If it was fine the other way and you didn't need boxes, that's okay. Just so you can separate up what we did. Okay? Well, as always, I love math and my dogs. And take Coke. Have a good day.